All right, in this video, going to cover the Ogre configuration for the Prometheus backend. If you're not familiar with Ogre, surprised that you're watching this video, but Ogre is a CLI and daemon for delivering container monitoring, specifically for health checks, by way of Docker labeled defined health checks for containers which are dynamically coming and going. So yeah, let's get started on how to configure the Prometheus backend. So I'm going to start with a very basic Prometheus configuration. I'm running an Ubuntu Bionic VM and I'm logged in as root. So taking a look at a very, very simple configuration here, which was literally just taken from Prometheus open source docs. This is the host and port that Prometheus runs on. And then down here, we've added another job to a scrape underneath the metric path health-metrics. By default, Prometheus will always look for /metrics. We are going to also say that the target for this job is localhost port quad 9. Okay, so very simple configuration here. Let's go ahead and start Prometheus. Now we can jump over to our browser, and great, Prometheus is running. So now Ogre. We've pulled down the source code, and we're going to, for purposes of this video, build from source. You can also use the Docker image to do the very same thing, and if need be, we can cover that in another video. However, let's talk about building from source. So to build the binary, simply run make build. And that should put both the CLI and daemon right here in our project. So print working directory, see that we're in pretty standard go path for Ogre. Now that being said, the CLI will work perfectly fine. However, if we go to start the daemon using the CLI, it wouldn't work out of the box without configuration, because this is a garbage place for the daemon binary to live. So we will provide specific configuration that says, hey, find the Ogre daemon binary at the path where it is. Now you can place that binary wherever you want. It doesn't have to be there. It's just for simplicity's sake. It defaults to user local bin. So let's see here. We are going to focus on, outside of that, our Prometheus configuration. So down here in our backends, we have a type, Prometheus. We have our server running on localhost quad 9, which we provided also to our Prometheus configuration to say what address to scrape. We have a metric name, which we're calling East Coast Ogre checks. And then we have a resource path, health metrics, which, if not configured, will default to /metrics, just as Prometheus does. Okay, so with that being done, let's go ahead and run Ogre start. Oh, I must have left this running from a previous attempt, so we'll do an Ogre stop. Ogre start. And we can confirm that that's running by either tailing the logs or trying to start it again and see that, in fact, we have one running since 4:42 UTC. All right, now let's jump over to another terminal window and start a container. So we're going to run a very simple container using a very simple Docker run command with labels provided as flags. Labels should typically be part of your Docker file, and I mean, they don't have to be, but it's much easier to probably maintain that as code. This is purely for example. So we're going to run docker run as a daemon in the background. This container will run sudo tty, the name foonoodle. The first label is Ogre health. So this is defining our first health check. It can have multiple, but Ogre health, our check will be health script. So the name of our check is going to be check_health_script. And for this example, we're going to use a health check script. So it's going to look inside the container for a health check script under user local bin health.sh. Then we're going to provide another label, which will indicate to Ogre by these two prefixed label definitions here. Ogre format our backend Prometheus. All we need to do is set that to true. Now, because we're going to use this very simple script, we're going to also mount in a volume from root health sh, this little script, and put that in to where Ogre expects to find it under user local bin health.sh. So let's go ahead and start that container. And to show you how absurdly stupid this script is, we'll take a look at it real quick. And it is literally just a shebang and an exit code. So for the purposes of this exercise, I want to easily be able to toggle exit codes 0 and 1 because Prometheus will not report the metric if it's exit 0. Ideally, you would want to set up Prometheus to have a configured alert manager as well, so that anytime you receive a health check indication as unhealthy, you will alert. So right now, we should not be reporting anything under East Coast Ogre metrics. Let's see if we have anything. And yep, we have no data. And we can just confirm that this is from a previous run. So let's go down to the last 5 minutes. Again, previous run, but no data points found in the last 1 minute. We'll keep it on 5 minutes, but as you can see, nothing being reported. So now what we'll want to do is change that exit code to a 1 or 127 or 255, whatever it may be, and indicate to Prometheus that the container foonoodle is now unhealthy. So let's jump into that container and we can edit it right in there. So we'll do a docker exec, make it an interactive session, sudo tty, the name of the container, and we're just going to use sh. All right. So now that we have our session established here, let's go ahead and open up our script. And that was under user local bin health. All right. So at the moment, currently just exit 0. So let's go ahead and edit this and have it exit 1. Or we'll even do 127. How about that? An even stranger exit code. Let's go with the max end, 255. It honestly doesn't matter. Anything that is not 0, indicating unhealthy. So go ahead and save that. Now, Ogre should now pick up that the health check is reporting something other than the 0 exit code, and start reporting that metric to the endpoint which Prometheus will scrape. So if we go back into our Prometheus UI here and refresh the page, we do in fact start to see that our Ogre checks are coming in. So let's drill down a little further. And actually, while we're looking at this, now that we have some data, I'm also going to open that script back up, and we'll turn that back to 0, kind of make it flap a little bit. So as you can see here, I hope you can see, I don't know how the video quality is on your end, but we have some information now which Prometheus is reporting. It has East Coast Ogre check with a value of 1 is the metric name. We have the check itself, which is the name of the check. So you can make that as a UID. It doesn't have to be check health script, but that Docker label was converted from dot separated notation to underscore separated, which is what Prometheus considers idiomatic. There's also another label provided as unhealthy, so you could in theory filter or alert on any containers that are unhealthy. It gives you the host name and the instance which is reporting it, as well as the job. Now, the job and instance definitions are coming specifically from the Ogre or the Prometheus configuration. So you can change those in your Prometheus configuration. However, the host, health, and check, as well as the metric name, are all coming from Ogre. So let's go ahead and refresh and see if it flapped. Again, 1 minute, no data points are found, but we see this little bar where we flipped it to 255. And we could try that one more time. Say exit code 1. And let's see, refresh here. And there it is, starting to report again. We can drill down to see that. And there it is. So that's the basics of a Prometheus configuration. You do have to provide the configuration to Ogre, as well as the configuration to Prometheus. But all things being equal, it's pretty simple configuration. And I hope this was helpful. If you have any issues, you find any problems, need to report a bug, please see the link in the description and go to our GitHub page and report anything, feature requests included. Thank you, and keep contributing.